So guys, today I want to talk about the Last Epoch news. There is a lot going around right now with the Last Epoch news and I want to address it. Yes, I know this is a part of Exile channel and you guys don't give a flying about Last Epoch, but I want to talk about it because it is cool and a lot of people do like Last Epoch. This is not a reaction. As you can see, I just have the video here in the background just to have something in the background. But the problem that is going on with Last Epoch is this. Last Epoch was not doing good financially, and some months ago they sold the whole company. EHG, 11th Hour Games, was sold entirely to Krafton, a big company. They own 100% of Last Epoch. The reason again was because Last Epoch was not profitable, was not a sustainable business. And if they wanted to keep the game alive, they had to sell. They had to sell. The problem is that before selling, they told players that they were never going to make extra paid content. And this is the place where they said it. Additional future content won't be locked behind an additional paywall like a traditional paid expansion. We will continue to have new supporter packs, which include cosmetics, no pay-to-win elements. We will continue to add new content to the game as we go, but it will all be available from just the initial game purchase. Now we are in 2020, almost 26, and things change. Now they are going to start charging. What are they going to charge? The expansion is not going to be paid. If you already own the game, you will have access to the expansion. But they are going to release a new content called Paradox Classes. And they don't really explain what Paradox Classes are, so we don't know what the fuck they are. But they are going to be paid. If you want to play the Paradox Classes, you have to pay. People are big mad about this. People in the Last Epoch community are big mad about this because they were promised they would never have to pay. And now that they are going to pay, they are not happy with the way it is done through Paradox experimental classes. They also use the word experimental in there. What is my opinion about this whole situation? By the way, some of the concerns are not only regarding the promise of not getting paid content, but also because people are assuming that Paradox classes are going to probably be overpowered. And if you want to play the new overpowered thing, you have to pay. That is what people are assuming. We don't know if that will be the case. But it is normal that when new things drop, they tend to be overpowered in every game, right? Games tend to power creep. And new things tend to not be balanced. And they tend to overshoot things. And if there is a motivation because of selling it, you are more incentivized to overshoot it, right? So that is where the complaint and the drama comes from. What do I think about the drama and the whole situation? I think that if you are a Last Epoch fan, you play every Last Epoch season, you have been supporting the company for a long time, and you want to keep playing the game, you shouldn't be mad about this, and I will explain why. If 11th Hour Game didn't sell the company, you wouldn't have Last Epoch anymore. The game would have to shut down because it was not profitable. You could say there are other ways of doing it, maybe change the monetization approach. Well, that is what they are doing after the sale, right? They are changing the monetization approach. It is not sustainable. We have to do something about it, man. In fact, I thought they were going to charge for the expansion. And I was fine with that. Diablo 4 does that. And they sell the base game, and they sell the expansion, and they sell a season pass, and they sell cosmetics. Nobody says anything about the 4. And it is way worse, right? If you like Last Epoch and you want it to continue, the game needs to earn money, because if not, they shut it down. They are not going to charge for the expansion. They are only going to charge for the paradox classes. I do think that this is fair. But at the same time, I also think that this is going to become a problem when those classes are OP. Because I can see myself saying, if the class is $20, for example, I am not going to pay $20 to play a new class. Fuck that. I play the Primalist, that is my favorite class. And fuck it, right? But what if that class is the most OP shit ever? Then it skews the whole perception of the whole thing. You could say, play your own thing on SSF. Yes, for me. But I am talking about the whole community. People will get pissed off if they can't buy the OP class because they don't have enough money and it turns into pseudo pay to win. Right? It is not really pay to win, but almost. So they have to be really careful with the balance of this new class or classes, the paradox classes, right? For this to not become a problem. Now, for the people that feel betrayed because they said that they were never going to charge anything else and now they are charging, brother, this post is from 2021. We are 5 years later. The company was going to shut down. Brother, I wouldn't hold them accountable to this message still after all this. Like, when your options are shutting down or changing your approach, I will go with changing my approach. That is what I will do, you know. Now, if you think, well, PoE does it. PoE doesn't need to do all this dog shit. It is because PoE sells you. Let's be honest, guys. It is not pay to win, but it is pay for convenience. And everybody in PoE needs the stash tabs. If you don't have the stash tabs for trading, you are not playing the game. You are playing a light version of the game. Because even if you are playing SSF, in SSF you need a lot of stash for all your bases and putting all your shit. Even in SSF you need stashes, stash tabs. That is why PoE is sustainable. In Last Epoch, you don't buy stashes because they are free. You can have all the stashes that you want. So the business model is different. I think it is not that bad. It is not that bad. It can become bad. It can become much worse if the content that they release is not good enough content. If they charge for the class and the class is OP or dog shit, it is going to be a problem. It also depends on how hands-on Krafton is with the direction of the game. A lot of things depend. And we don't have any, it has been months, and we don't have any true information about what the expansion is going to have, about what paradox classes are. We don't know anything. We only know that they are changing monetization. But through gameplay information, we don't know anything. So I can understand why people are frustrated, definitely. But I also don't think that it is the end of the world for Last Epoch yet. We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. That is my take. Unlike PoE and they give us free stash tabs, now Last Epoch can take the stashes away and sell them like PoE. Exactly. People are used to have all those stash, right? All that stash. In my opinion, EHG has so many easy ways of making money that isn't paid classes, which is why people get mad. Hideouts, unique stash tabs, good skins, even pets with cosmetics are easy wins. Yeah, you could say. And at the expansion itself, why don't say like Diablo? They do a big expansion that is not the same as a season, and that includes a class, and you pay for that. That will be, in my opinion, a better approach than selling the class itself. I think that people would be less mad if you sell the expansion. Maybe they are doing it because when you charge for the whole expansion, you lock people out of the new content. And they don't want to lock people out of the new content, and you can play the new content, but the class is locked. I can see that perspective, but I think the expansion approach is better. Imagine if Druid is paid, even though I don't mind paying for it, it will kill the hype for me. Brother, I am a Druid fan, and I will be pissed off if I had to pay for the fucking Druid. That would be stupid as fuck. It's worse than PoE's payment model, though. Yes, it is worse. It is definitely worse, Stefan. And also, you have to understand, this is the consequence of being too ethical, by the way. Sometimes you don't understand why companies are not more ethical because of this. Last Epoch's model was really ethical. You only paid for the base game. Everything else is optional. Even stash tabs were for free. Item filter, affinities. You could do everything in the game forever for only $30. Of course it was not sustainable. Of course it was not sustainable. Being too ethical made them be at this point. I am not asking for people for companies to be corrosive like some gacha Genshin Impact dog shit. But being too ethical is also not sustainable. You have to put a little bit of a spice in there to make the business sustainable. And the stash tabs are the perfect example. They are not entirely pay to win, but you need the stash tabs. The game is completely different with and without the stash tabs. And that is what happens in PoE 2 and PoE 1. Neversink, which is the guy that makes the filter for Path of Exile 2, awesome guy, based as fuck, gave his opinion about this whole thing. And he says, personally, I would buy the DLC. I think the company more than deserves the money, but I'd prefer it if they would communicate the situation clearly. Maybe gave it for free to people who bought supporter packs. Based. I agree completely with this take. They are being very vague about the future, right? Okay, we are going to give expansion for free and pay for paradox classes. What is expansion? What does expansion gives you? What differentiates expansion from a season? What is a paradox class? We don't know anything. I'm not excited about paradox classes. Exactly, I am not either. I am normally excited about new classes, but this doesn't excite me. What is different from a normal class? The base master can, in my opinion, benefit from further itemization and refining through frequently only a tiny fraction of all uniques are relevant for each build. As an option, even with 2-3 exactly, and some archetypes, agree completely. Agree completely. This whole announcement will go a lot better if they provide some details on the upcoming content. Base as fuck, that is what I've been saying. Season 3 wasn't that great, and announcing this information out of the blue without announcing Season 4 at the same time was a mistake. Exactly. And the expansion, where is expansion coming? Because they said that before the expansion, they are going to launch 2 or 3 seasons. So the expansion is like 1 year away. Why are we worrying about this now then? It is weird, man. It is weird. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I a clown? Am I a genius? Let me know everything in the comments below. I love reading comments even when they don't agree with me. Also, remember to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. God bless you. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.